Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you again for tuning in. And today is a very exciting day because today I have purchased my 10th property. Today it got finalized, the deal is done, and I could not be more excited and happy. And I already made a video talking about the first time I bought a real estate asset, but I'm going to be talking to you today about why I do it. But I'm also going to explain to you why it's not passive, but why you do want to purchase real estate, because real estate has been one of the most fantastic assets that I could have ever imagined. Now, why does real estate actually generate you money? There are four actual ways, and a lot of people only know two of them, which is cash flow and it's going to be appreciation of the property, just like any asset. However, this asset is especially special because there is not a better financial tool, in my own opinion, to create generational wealth other than real estate. But it has to be done right. I'll tell you about the four different ways to make money in real estate. And it's a very long term game. So if you're expecting to become a billionaire overnight with real estate, it ain't going to happen. But if you wait 10, 15 years, you could be on a point where you're making $50 million a year easily through just equity portions in the property. Now, nothing's actually easy, but as easy as it could be, I would say. So now, the four best ways to make money in real estate. The first place is just like you imagined, it's cash flow. If you rent it out for $2,000 and the total cost is $1,500 for you to own this property, you make $500. Now, a lot of people don't understand the real estate cash flow is gross, and you're probably not going to make too much from it, especially nowadays, because real estate assets are very expensive. They're a lot more expensive than they were 30 years ago compared to how much revenue you could bring in. But they still make sense as long as you put a good amount of money down, which is from, like, for example, for myself, I only put down 20%. I never put down 5%. One of the reasons why is I have no choice because I own so many properties. Only residential homes count for 5% versus everybody else that does 20%. Also, but 20% makes it so that you don't have to pay an extra insurance amount, and oftentimes just better. It puts you in a better liquidity position in your property. And so the first place is that cash flow. If you put down 20% and you can make a little bit of cash flow, that's great. But you're probably gonna have to spend it on fixing shit because everything breaks. So you got fixing your sink, fixing your kitchen, fixing your bathroom, anything that moves has to be fixed every once in a while. So that's the cash flow portion. But if you're good enough with your property and you put enough down, you will be able to make a little portion of money from that, which you could use as your actual cash flow. The second thing is appreciation of the property. So when it comes to appreciation, this is all depending on where you're in. If you're in a random Chinese village right now, just randomly, or an India village, if you're anywhere there, your property is probably not appreciating at the same rate it is in New York City in the USA. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get any appreciation, because over the long horizon, as more people get on our planet, as more and more places get developed, your real estate asset will increase in value. But this is why, when the first thing you want to do when you're buying a real estate asset is look in your market. And look in your market, if you know your city is growing, if you see that people are consistently trying to move to your city, like how Calgary had a large boom a little while ago, it is a good idea to put your property there. You can always see what places go for what rent, and people understand that housing is a necessity. So when you're looking to buy a rental property, first thing you always have to look at is where is the location. And again, you can check the growth charts to see, are people moving to this location or are people moving out, and that's how you want to price it. Second thing you want to understand, and in that appreciation portion, is this is never money you're going to be able to touch unless you take on like a HELOC or like a line of credit against your property. So this is what the long term is. And when you first purchase a mortgage, your appreciation, this is when you're going to be putting a certain amount down. Now, this is what I want people to understand, and the real way you make money in real estate. Now, the actual returns of real estate on average around, let's just say, the Americans, so like Canada and the USA, is about 2 to 5% gross. And that means after inflation, you're probably only be making 1 to 2% appreciation. However, that is making you money, and I'll explain how. When you look at a 1 to 2% 2% return, that's nothing. However, think of it this way: when I buy my property for $100,000 and I put 10% down, all right. So let's say, I put 10 grand down and I purchase this property. Now, what is 1% appreciation on 10,000? $100. Okay, great. Now, what is 1% appreciation on 100,000? $1,000. Now, how much money did you actually put down? You put down 10 grand. So this means you're not getting the appreciation on the equity portion of the house. You're getting the appreciation on the whole of the house. So you're going to, even though you put down 10 grand, you, and if let's just say the appreciation on the property just for the example is 1%, you're going to be making $1,000 instead of $100, 10x what you would have already originally made. Now, the concept is a little difficult to explain and a little difficult to understand. But the main thing you have to understand is you're getting the total appreciation on the total value of the house, not what you purchased it at. So your down payment plus the actual property value grows, and you get those benefits. Those benefits don't go to the bank, those go to you. And so once you sell the property for, let's just say, a profit, you not only get that appreciation that's happened in that property during that entire portion of that time, but you also get your original money back. So that's a way that people don't actually consider when they're buying real estate, and that's why 1% may not look like a great return, but you're technically have a free $100,000 that's giving you 1%, not the 10 grand. Now, the fourth way that people make money is actual equity portion in their property. This means every month that your rental property is paying its mortgage, you're going to get a little bit of equity. And when it starts off with the bank, you only start off at $100, $200. And then as the years go by that you're paying this, you get a lot more equity every single month because you get more and more gradually of what you're paying. Now, if you notice one thing during this entire video, I keep saying rental property. A lot of people consider their primary residence a asset. However, this is an asset that is non-functional. It doesn't produce you any goods, any cash, because you're actually going to have to pay for this maintenance. You're going to pay for everything, and it might appreciate, but you're not going to be able to touch that appreciation until way later down the road. And so don't consider your home an asset. It is an asset on paper. However, it's pretty much just a liability to you. But a real estate property is a way to actually make money. So you can actually get that mortgage payout. So you can get that cash flow, the appreciation. You can get the equity portion, and then you can also get depreciation. A lot of people don't understand depreciation as well, because there is a cost that of owning property. You are able to take out a portion of depreciation from your property at 1 to 2% a year and put that against your actual cash flow that you're making from the property. So you are able to technically, and the more properties you have, the more apparent it gets, technically able to save a lot of money from a property when purchasing it. When filing your taxes. So those are just 4 easy ways for you to have a little bit of a better understanding on how real estate actually makes you money. And my apologies if it was kind of like an overview. I want to go more in depth of this topic. However, I'll do that in video to video wise, because I want to make it easy to digest. But the 4 main factors, again, you have to think about when buying real estate is your cash flow, then your appreciation, then your depreciation, and then your equity portion that you're getting. And remember, it only happens on rental properties. This will not be a scene that you're able to do on your primary residence. It's only a thing you're able to really be able to see on your rental properties. And so this is why, I've grown to 10. If I have a portfolio of, let's just say, I just want to put a big number out there. Let's just say $10 million. If you have $10 million worth of real estate, actually, let's make it even easier. $1 million. You own $1 million, and let's just say your average appreciation of $1 million is how much? Let's just say 5% a year in a really, really good market, right? So you're getting 5% a year. Off $1 million, that's 50 grand. So that means 50 grand worth of equity has been given to you on this property without you having to do anything, right? So you have $1 million worth of real estate, and it goes by 5% a year. That's $50,000 that you're making every single year. That, of course, it's going to be variable, but I'm just giving you an idea of how you need to look at this. So when I was talking to you originally that you can make $50 million a year in equity, it's not that hard, because once you own the asset and you have all the other pillars, it's making you money. It's costing you less than what's costing you to own. And you're able to make good money from it, you're able to depreciate from it, and you get a good equity position. The appreciation is just on top. It's just free money that you're getting every year, just as like a great job, you own this amount of assets. And so this is why I always say in my videos, I am very cash poor, but I am very asset rich. I think I will share some of my screenshots, not of this video, but I'll share some of my screenshots of my financial picture, because at this moment in time, I'm very fortunate, but I'm racking in between $20,000 to $50,000 a month, and this amount of money is a fantastic amount of money, but it's gross. I'm not keeping anywhere near that number, because remember, if I own 10 rental properties, I'm getting 10 different amounts of rental income every single month. But you got to remember, I also have my mortgages to pay and everything, and it goes out of that $50,000 a year. So sorry, that $50,000 a month, and those are just my housing assets. That doesn't include my business income. This does not include my income from my dividends. This is just purely mortgages and rental properties. And I know for a fact, though, if I just keep my same rental portfolio and just continue to grow it, in 30 years everything will be paid off, and I'll be able to get this entire amount of money cash every single month instead of having to pay for a mortgage. And right now, none of them are costing me. My vacancy is zero, 100% booked, and I've had some very bad tenant stories, and I'm going to go over all of those here as well. But at this moment in time, I have, after doing this for 3 years, I was able to figure out the best way to screen tenants, and eventually I'll also go to just like a service agency that'll just take care of my properties as it is. At this moment in time, I'm finding it very easy to deal with tenants now, and I like the pressure. You don't like it in the moment, but the more pressure you put on yourself, the more you're able to handle over the long term. And I think that's a very important thing, especially if you're trying to grow in this business. Because I'll promise you one thing: if you have 50 properties, there is no way on earth you're going to be able to give away 50 properties to 50 managers. Always something's going to happen where somebody's still going to have to come to you. If you don't learn how to deal with that early on, you're going to make the mistake of having to deal with it later. So if you guys have any in-depth questions about real estate, and I'll give you guys a quick update on portfolio right now. At this moment in time, I have 7 single family properties. And so that includes the one that I'm about to receive. And then I also have 2 townhouses and 1 commercial bay property. And I'll go over everything I have, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to share this journey with you, and I want to show you guys how eventually I plan on holding hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of properties all over the country, all over the world. And I look forward to sharing it with you. So thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon. And actually, one last thing I want to speak about. I'm at 64 followers as of today. Thank you so much, guys. I grew 20 followers in the last week, and man, I appreciate all of you guys. I saw some comments from some amazing people, and just knowing that people are just want to hear what I'm saying, or people appreciate what I'm putting out, or just people trying to learn, like, man, I really appreciate all of you guys. You guys are fucking amazing. I don't think I should be swearing, but man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.